Hello, my name is Brian Boswell. I'm a fee-only certified financial planner working with Newbridge Wealth Management. I've worked in college savings for over 20 years and currently contribute to Forbes on college savings topics. Today I'm going to be reviewing the student debt relief plan that was proposed by President Joe Biden on August 24th. Information provided is believed to be accurate as of today, but it might change as information becomes available because it's been coming to us pretty rapidly. So check StudentAid.gov, check the Department of Education website at ed.gov for additional information. I'll also be mentioning these and other websites throughout the presentation. So the plan is presented in three parts. The first is going to be an extension of the student loan repayment pause, which has already been in effect. The second is going to be the one that's making all the headlines, which is student loan forgiveness. And then the third is going to be making student loans permanently more manageable. And I'm going to cover each of these three parts. So the first one is going to be the repayment pause, and it's been paused since March of 2020. You don't need to do anything and no interest will accumulate on eligible federal loans. So if you have these loans and you've been paused, you'll stay paused through the end of this year, 2022. That said, this is the first time the government has given us a date on when payments will resume, so it's fair to expect that you will almost definitely have to start making your payments again in January. So make any changes that you need to make in order to free up cash to ensure you've got enough cash flow to cover those payments because they are coming. Okay, so forgiveness. This is the big one. This is what all the headlines are about. Forgiveness applies only to federal loans, and that does include PLUS loans. So if you've got private loans, know that they will not qualify. Second, any federal loans that were obtained after June 30th of this year, 2022, those also will not qualify. Now, if you have student loans and you earned less than $125,000 as an individual filer, or if you earned less than $250,000 as married filing jointly, then you'll qualify for some form of forgiveness. Now the forgiveness is broken into two parts. First is if you received Pell Grants. Now, if you received Pell Grants in any amount when you were enrolled, you'll qualify for up to $20,000 of forgiveness. So if you received, if you have student loans today and you had Pell Grants when you were in college, let's say you have $30,000 of leftover loans, $20,000 of that is going to be wiped out, and you'll be responsible for the balance, the $10,000 that remains. If you have less than that $20,000 of forgiveness, let's say you have $15,000 of loans left over, then the entire amount will be wiped out, and that's it. It's all done. So, kudos to you if you fall in those categories. Second is if you did not receive a Pell Grant during your undergraduate, but you still meet those the income thresholds, then you will qualify for only up to $10,000 of forgiveness. Still great, right? But it's only the $10,000 threshold. Same calculations. If you have more than that, you'll be responsible for the remaining balance. If you have less than that, the entire balance will be wiped out. Note that you have until the end of this year to apply, quote unquote. And when I say apply, I mean, I don't know what that means you're going to need to do. So details on how to actually apply are not yet available. We know that we have until the end of this calendar year for that, but it may happen automatically. We're waiting for details from the U.S. Department of Education on how that process is going to happen. They're launching tools and guidance, whatever that means, in the coming weeks. So sign up for notifications from ed.gov/subscriptions and make sure your information with your current loan administrator is up to date so that they can find you and send you notifications as well, because you'll likely get information from both sources. Okay, so the second part of this forgiveness is involving public student loan forgiveness. Now, public student loan forgiveness is a separate program for borrowers that after graduation have worked in public service. That means federal, state, local, tribal government, or nonprofit organizations. And normally it would require 20 years of service before the remaining student loan balance would be forgiven. But right now, that requirement has been temporarily reduced to 10 years or more. So even if those years were non-consecutive, meaning maybe you worked in administration for the city for a year, and then you did a stint in private industry, and then you went back and you worked for the city for another 11 years, and you're still in the program, it still counts cumulatively, so no worries. But time is against you. So this benefit is temporary, so and only through the end of October, so you've got a limited amount of time. If you miss the deadline, presumably it's going to revert to that 20-year forgiveness period. So the White House has provided a tool to see if you're eligible at pslf.gov, publicstudentloanforgiveness.gov, which is where you should start. And if you think this applies to you, you should go and get started on this right away. Okay, so the third and final part of the Biden plan is regarding income-driven repayment plans, or IDR plans. IDR plans are separate from forgiveness and public student loan forgiveness programs. So IDR programs will be permanently improved in a number of ways, including reducing the required payments to only 5% of discretionary income. The idea is to protect your non-discretionary income to a higher degree. Currently, it's 10%. Further, borrowers that are earning under 225% of the federal poverty level will not have to make any monthly payments. So there's a sliding scale depending on how many people are in your household. I'm going to cover the first two. So if you're an individual, that amount is $30,577. So if you earn less than $30,577, you don't have to make any monthly payments. If you're a two-member household, that amount scales up to $41,197. So just be aware of that. Second is that the balances are going to be forgiven after 10 years instead of 20. Again, not part of the public student loan forgiveness program if you're in income-driven repayment plans. You still need to make your regular payments. Missing payments can make you ineligible. But if your balance is below $12,000 and it's been 10 years and you've made payments in good faith, that amount will be forgiven, which is great. The last part is that the government is going to cover the borrower's unpaid monthly interest. So that treading water effect that a lot of borrowers have been very frustrated with over the past 10 and 20 years, that's going to go away because the government is going to be covering those additional unpaid monthly interest. So it's not going to keep growing or staying flat because you just can't keep up with the required payments. All right, one more thing to note. Since I recorded this earlier in the day, StudentAid.gov has released updated information providing additional guidance, and I updated it again. So what this means is that new information is flying at us very fast. So sign up for those notifications like I mentioned earlier at ed.gov/subscriptions, and make sure that you're getting notifications on updates on the plan. Also be sure to check in with your loan administrator and make sure that your information is current. Otherwise, I hope this was helpful, and thank you for listening.